from a wireless...
Houses and condos, right? I'm kidding.
Made out of metal from machines, yeah.
Exactly. I'm just playing with you, dude. Yeah. So you're meeting with Paul Snyder, the owner, the son of the owner, actually, whatever it be, and all that other stuff. You'll learn that as you go along. But you called me to set up the appointment, and here we are, and now we're first appointment, okay?
Cool. All
right, my man. So I'm going to let you do your magic, and I may stop you, but if I don't, keep on going. Just do your thing, okay?
100%. Is there not obviously it's going to take its natural course, but is there a time frame, or is that a bit of a trap?
Yep, 1 hour, dude. We got to be off. Well, you got 50 minutes, so you should be fine, man. The normal meeting like this should take about a half an hour. So the average is running around 40 minutes now, Dwayne. To be honest with you, so around 40, you should be more than ample enough time in there, man. And you're pretty smart. You're a pretty smart guy, apparently, that I've been told. So.
Who told you that? Misinformation.
Yeah, I think it's a lie, but whatever. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. No, I'm within reason of about 40 minutes or so. You should be ample enough time, man. It should be fine. It's not that difficult to play, actually. So.
Oh, sure. And cool. One last question. Are we taking this from Business X Training 2011 forward, or just the last session we learned 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, ideally, I'd like you to use the session that we did a few weeks back. The most recent one, because there's obviously elements that we did from the past course that you could use. If you're comfortable using those, then use those, man. Like the new stuff was really it was a tailor to adjusting what the market is and doing things a little differently. I'd ideally like to see you use the process-based selling rather than the profit-based kind of line of thought.
Gotcha.
Where I think you need to go right now in the market space, right? Cool, bud?
Sounds good.
All right. So whenever you're ready, man, I'm going to let you get away with your thing.
Cool. And I'm role-playing this as if we're obviously person-to-person, not over the phone.
Yes, correct. Yeah, person-to-person. I'm there in Victoria. You're in Victoria, right?
Nanaimo, yeah.
Nanaimo, that's it. Sorry, yeah. So I'm around the Nanaimo area there. So.
Cool. All right. So we'll get started.
All right, my man. You're ready.
Excellent. Hey, Paul. Great to meet you. Thanks for taking time out of your, it's obviously your busy day to meet with me today.
Oh, thank you for coming in.
You betcha. Hey, so I just want to confirm we're still good for about 20, 30 minutes or so here today?
Yeah, absolutely, man. No problem at all. We'll take the time what we need, for sure.
Cool, right on. And when we talked on the phone, you were the business owner, is that correct? President?
Yeah, actually, I'm the son of the second owner of the business. Raymond Robert was the first owner, and then about probably 20 some odd years ago, my dad took it over from Raymond, and then my dad about 6 years ago is now sipping margaritas in Florida. So it's my brother and I that are. Yeah, my dad's still around. He comes in, once a month to pick up a check and give us hell a bunch of stuff, and then he goes away.
Rattle the chain a bit and then takes off again, yeah?
Exactly. That's what dads do, right? So that's, exactly.
So a bit of a generational family business. That's good to see.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's going well, and it's a lot of fun. So who knows? Maybe one day I'll be the one sipping margaritas, and my daughters can take over. Who knows? You never know.
That's the game plan. Sounds like a good one.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, hey, what I want to do is, and I just want to kind of put some framework around our 20, 30 minutes that we have here.
Yeah.
If that's cool with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Betcha. Hey, so the purpose of our meeting here, like the reason why we're here today to talk, is basically so I can discover if there's an opportunity for you to increase and improve some of the processes that you have within your company.
Okay.
And we're going to do that via basically just asking some questions. There may be some questions that you're not used to being asked from a wireless, aka cell phone guy. But nonetheless, we're going to go through some questions. When we get through those questions and we've explored some things, the payoff for you, hopefully, is going to be that we can actually define some of those processes we can improve on and get some more efficiencies out of there, which eventually, at some point, is going to lead to some profit for you.
I like those words, that's for sure.
Cool, man. Hey, so with your permission, we're just going to get started here, and like I said, I'm going to try to keep this this whole Q&A thing down to like maybe 10, 15 minutes, just so we can get through it as efficiently as possible, as painless as possible.
That sounds good to me.
Cool, man. Hey, so I just want to spend, before we start jumping right into some pretty deep stuff here, I just want to get kind of a 50,000-foot view, if I could use that word, of your business.
Sure.
Cool. So, tell me what it is you do. I checked out your website, and I'm not going to lie, I took sheet metal in grade 8, and that's kind of about. And I'm trying to connect the dots, but I got lost pretty quick. What is it exactly you guys do?
So essentially, Dwayne, we sell and service any kind of machinery that has anything to do with metal working. So whether it be from a lathe to a cutting machine to a bending to the new CNC machines, which are essentially laser or water cutting machines. So all the machinery that a machine shop would use or a fabrication shop to build anything from door jambs to metal cabinetry, to actually the clipboards that my guys use on the service team, those little metal clips, that's actually a client of ours who manufactures that.
Okay.
So things like that. So we don't manufacture those things. We don't manufacture anything, actually. We literally are an agency where we're a dealership for about 12 brands of machinery, and those brands, we also service them as well for our clients.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Now the dots are starting to connect for me. That's cool. So who would some of your customers be then that I might recognize?
Anyone from Bob's Machine Shop on the corner of your on the corner of your office address in Nanaimo to a Bombardier building something in their factory. So we'll do quotes on large clients, and we'll do quotes on mom and pop shops, that are like 2 machines type thing. So
right. Oh, pretty cool stuff.
And our the machinery also varies a lot, Dwayne? Like, we have stuff that we sell that's the size of a laptop, and then we have stuff that sells that's literally the size of a 40-foot van, and you need a crane to bring it into your manufacturing facility. So, very diverse. So something like that can, our price book ranges from, $1,200 for a small part to $50 for a pulley, but it could also be $800,000 for a machine that goes into a factory.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
And on those big machines, like, is it one of those situations where there's service and stuff involved on them as well? Yeah,
we do 2 things on service. We can do service contracts, which are essentially like a sort of preventative maintenance kind of thing, where we're in every month. Or whatever forecasted timeline, depending on your production. And then there's also reactive, we call it reactive service, which means I run the machine until it breaks, and then as soon as it breaks, oh my God, we got to get these guys in here.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So plan A and plan B.
Correct. Yeah.
Right on.
Obviously, my sales reps, we try and get them to sell more of the maintenance plans, obviously. But that's not for everybody, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Teach their own. Depending on the customer. Cool.
Yes.
Well, thanks for sharing that with me again. I'd just like to ask those really high-level questions just to give me a better picture of your business, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take you through some questions here that I appreciate you following along here. This part should take, maybe 5 minutes at the most. And what I want to do is just drill down a level deeper and talk about some of the departments that you have. And the reason I'm going to ask this is just to give me a better, more granular kind of picture of your business and how it works. So if you're cool with that, I just got a few more questions for you.
Sure.
Right on. Okay, so can you run off some of the departments that you have that are key, some of your key departments to your operations?
Yeah, absolutely. We have essentially we have 4 divisions, 4 departments. So we have our sales guys, we have our service team, we have admin, our executive admin team, and then we have the plant and the warehouse mixed into one.
And warehouse. Cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, so just to go back to the sales guys for a second here. So how many sales guys do you have?
We have 6 sales guys in total, 3 that are inside and 3 that are outside.
3. Cool. And the 3 outside guys, do they have vehicles? Obviously, I guess.
Yeah, of course, yeah. We gave them vehicles. We gave them Dodge Caravans back in the day. A couple of years ago now, I guess.
Cool. So that's 3 Dodge Caravans for those guys?
Yep. They're all logoed up, and they look like billboards,
Okay, so their company vehicles are like leased and stuff like that?
Yep.
Cool. And do you have any? Have you ever heard of the term fleet tracking?
Yeah. Dwayne, I'm going to give you a timeout, though, okay? I'm going to give you a timeout early. And the reason is that the wide and deep grid,
yeah,
it's to go wide horizontally before you go downwards, right?
Okay.
All right. That's why we call it wide, then deep.
Cool.
Okay? Now, the reason why, because this is the part where I coach back and it's recorded, okay? The reason why I need you to do it wide, then deep, going downwards, is I don't want you to get lost in sales and we're going to run out of time and you're going to miss perhaps some opportunities that are elsewhere in the business. Because if you do go into the tracking discussion and then phones and laptops and all that other stuff, we may get onto some conversation, man, and never back from it, okay?
Cool. Thanks for getting the time out, bud, on that one. No
problem, man. So we're going back up. So go straight back up to your employees and then take it from after sales. It's your next group.
Sure. So, and just to get back on track here, so if you can tell me the number of employees you have in your service department.
Yeah, service, we're at 8 people now.
8 people, cool. And how about your admin department?
You could, if you want, Dwayne, you could go, and how many of those work out of the office? Like, you can do both of them at the same time, I don't mind, but they got to be
like within the same category?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, yeah, so we'll go back to service, and then how many of those service guys work out of the office?
All of them, man. They've all got their thing on the road, man. That's where we make money.
Cool. 8. And then how about your admin department? How many people working in there?
We got 9 in the admin group, and only 3 of us get out. So it's like my brother, me, and Jack, our VP sometimes.
Okay, Jack and owners. Cool. And how about in the plant and the warehouse? How many folks you got in there?
Oh, that plant, we're in the, it's actually parts and the parts department and warehouse. We're a total of 7 people now.
7. And they ever get out of the, you let them out of the warehouse ever?
No, dude, we chain them to their desk. They're not allowed to leave. There's too much going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a big fat zero on that one. Cool. And then on the sales, we talked briefly about that. You got three of the vans in sales that are leased. How about in the service department?
Service, we've got 8 Ford Econoline vans. You know those panel kind of vans?
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Cool. And are they leased as well? Obviously,
yep.
I guess.
Leased. Yeah, they're leased. They're all logoed and everything. So.
Cool. Leased. The admin department, anything going on in there as far as company vehicles go?
We have 4 executive vehicles. We have 4 Mercedes E-Class cars. But, yeah, I mean, they're not logoed or anything, obviously, so.
For sure. Cool. And how about the plant or the parts department warehouse?
We have a couple of forklifts in the office, but in the plant. Well, in the warehouse, but that's it.
Okay. So no vehicles per se. Cool. And back to the sales department here, if we can start again. They have cell phones, smartphones?
Yeah. The sales guys all have, the 3 of them that are outbound, they have smartphones. They have iPhones, Apple iPhones.
That's cool. How about in the service department?
All 8 of them, actually.
All 8?
Yeah.
And are they smartphones as well?
Yep, absolutely, yeah. We moved everyone over to iPhones, the whole company. Okay. Well, those had phones, right? So.
Yeah, everybody had the phones. Cool. How about in the admin executive area there?
Admin phone-wise, we're at 5 phones now.
5. And again, iPhones right across the board?
Yep, totally.
And how about in the warehouse?
Warehouse, we only have 1 phone, actually. It's for Jimmy, parts manager, yeah.
Parts manager. Cool. We're almost done. Thanks for hanging in there.
No problem.
For sure. So for the sales department, number of laptops or mobile internet keys. Are you familiar with that? Like those little USB things you put in your laptop to get access to the internet?
Yeah. Yeah, no, we don't have any of those. Not at all. But we have laptops, though, but we don't have those little things.
Okay. 0. How many of the laptops do you have there?
Sales, we got 3, and then the exec team, we have 4.
Cool. And zeros across the board for everybody else?
Yep.
Cool. And how about tablets? You guys have any tablets in your company?
Just David and I. We actually bought a couple of iPhones. iPads about 2 years ago. But we don't use them for much, to be honest with you, Dwayne. the occasional email, but they're mostly for watching videos and films on flights and punching in Angry Birds and stuff like that.
Right. Okay, cool. And then one last row of questioning here.
Sure.
Do you have any, when it comes to forms, do you guys paper right across the board?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing we'll have is the guys will use forms for like expenses, for inventory, etc., and things like that. The only thing we do in electronic form is the guys that are ordering, the sales team that orders new machinery or parts and stuff. They'll do it through email now.
Right, through your suppliers or whatever.
Yeah, well, they'll email internally, and then internally we order off to the supplier.
Oh, okay, I see. Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. And one last sort of question. So when it comes to your office phone system, and again, I remember I mentioned this is going to be some odd questioning from a wireless cell phone guy, but when it comes to your desk phones, your phone system that you have in your office and in your buildings, and your sales department, do these guys have phones on their desks?
No, they don't actually. The sales guys, I try and make their office space as uncomfortable as possible.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the more uncomfortable it is, the more they spend time outside the office.
You must play golf with my boss. Cool. And how about the service department? What do they have for phones?
The service guys don't have phones either. Well, hold on. Let me take a step back. The internal guys in sales have 3 phones, right? So there's a phone on each one of their desks.
Okay, cool.
I mean, that's because they don't go anywhere, right? They don't leave the office.
That would make sense. Cool. And in the admin, I can't help but imagine those guys have some keys, eh?
Yeah. We have probably, I'd say about, I think in total, we're running 15 lines, extensions, if you call that. But I think the number of phones, like physical hardware, I think we have about 20 or 21.
20 or 21.
Yeah, because there's some conference rooms, some rooms have 2 phones.
Okay. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Cool. So safe to say at least there's 9 people in admin. They all have their own extension or their own phone or some version of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, there's a few overflows, right? So.
And the parts in the warehouse, same kind of idea. Do you have just one phone for all those guys to use in there?
There's one main line that goes in, and then there's 3 extensions that attach to it.
3 extensions. Cool. Hey, that's it for the 20 questions as far as that part goes. Thanks for hanging in there.
Cool. Yeah, no problem.
But hey, do you remember when we started out, I talked about looking to see if we can identify some processes that can be improved upon? Yeah. And it seems to me that you guys are a pretty service and sales heavy kind of business. Mm-hmm. Is it a kind of a statement? So do you mind if we talk just about the service department for a while, like just specifically that group of people?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. So what I'm hoping you can do, to the best of your knowledge, is just a day in the life of the service department. Okay. Can you tell me, when these folks show up, what's the first thing they do, all the way through to what's the last thing they do in a day, with some pertinence? I don't need to know everything, but just the stuff that you think is pertinent. Sure.
In terms of the service guys, they'll show up in the morning. Their mornings start at about 7 a.m. So we ask them to be here ready to go working at 7 a.m. So most of them roll in about 6:45, to be honest. And then their first half hour or so is used up by simply getting their clipboards, checking out where they have to go for the day, what do they need, is there some parts that they need for the repair. If there are parts that they need, they have to go to Jimmy and Parts and then sign out for the part that they take with them. Things like there's a little bit of back and forth. They may go see Bob, our manager of service, to get some input on how to work on a specific machine if they've never worked on one before, like that per se. Okay. So that kind of stuff. So that's the back and forth kind of stuff in the morning. So 7 to 7:30ish, let's call it. And then as of 7, I try and make sure the guys are on the road, en route to a client or at a client location for 8 a.m. So when I come out of my office at 8 a.m. and I still see a service guy here, I lose it big time. So it's that the guys got to realize that they're on the road. So cool for their first appointment. Yep, their first one, and their appointments. They'll go to on average about 3 of them a day. 3 7. Okay, cool. 3 a day. Yeah. So some pretty technical stuff going on there on their appointments, I'm sure, eh? Well, there's some of the equipment's extremely technical. Some of it's less. When they do have technical issues, if they're working on servicing a specific machine, they don't know what to do, they'll call back to Bob. And they'll literally phone. Bob's a bit of a machine whisperer. He knows way too many things of how things work, you know. But he's just one of those guys that just simplifies everything. So when they do need to reach out to him to get information, it works out really well, and then they get the coaching or they get the required info, and then they're gone. So they're gone.
Okay. How's Bob feel about that?
Well, I mean, Bob's running around all day long, right? So he probably, I don't know, man, he must get about 50 calls a day, I'd say, probably.
Wow. And is that his primary job, is to support these guys?
Yeah, that's what a service manager is, man. It's fix the issues, help the guys, make sure they get the most out of their days. So that's essentially his role.
Right on. So they're doing appointments all day. Obviously, they're taking lunch, and are they coming back to the warehouse? Are they doing? Or are they all specifically appointment based? Like, you know exactly where these guys are at all day long?
Well, we try and make them as appointment based as possible, but you never really know what's wrong with the machine until you get there. Even if somebody sends you pictures, a movie, or whatever it is, until you've actually disassembled whatever and you see what's going on, it's one of those things that's sort of up in the air. So we can't really tell them when to take lunch. They're reasonable what they need to do. If it's 11:15 and they got another one that's like halfway across the city, I'm the first one who'll tell them, no, grab a bite and then go over, you know?
Right. So a little bit of time management's involved somewhere along the day.
Absolutely. That's quite normal. So then end of the day, they head back. They've done their 3 calls, let's say, example. They'll show up with their work orders, because their work order is really literally a 3-page carbon copy form. To which essentially just notes down all the client info, when the repair is going to happen, what they might write down forecasting, what they need as replacement equipment as they go to see the client. Off on that, whatever they take out of their truck, so connectors, harnesses, straps, pulleys, whatever it be, that stuff they need to replenish it every night. So once they've come home to, let's call it home base, once they've hit home base, what we ask them to do is twofold. They want to, number one, bring all their invoices to the billing people. Well, no, it's not invoices, it's still work orders. So bring your work orders to the invoicing girls. Yeah. They look it over, have some questions. If they're already gone because you came in late, then it's the next morning that they'll catch you. Say, hey, Paul, come here. I just want to ask you, what's this exactly? I can't read your writing or whatever it be. So it's one of those things. And then the last thing they do is they take an inventory of what they took out of their car over the day. So, if I took out 6 bolts, 2 connectors, and 4 windshield wiper blades, that's either for my truck. It could be because we even keep parts for their own trucks as well, but they're also looking for stuff for their actual machinery that they're working on fixing as well. So if they need anything, whether it be a specific pulley for a lathe or whatever, they'll find that out. And if they've used it out of their truck, they actually have to note it on that inventory sheet so that they can replace it. So as they pull into their inventory parts, at the end of the day, they bring over their work orders to the girls. They'll at the same time go to see our employee Jimmy at the parts department, who's in charge of parts, and they'll literally give him a form. It's a carbon copy form that they give him, and it lists out all the things. Okay, these are the things you took, and then he goes off with a little basket. Well, sometimes it's a big basket, and literally pulls stuff off the shelves to replace that stuff that goes back in their truck. So that could take another 40 minutes, 45 minutes. 30 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then their days.
Good job.
It's a bit of a it's a runaround, man. They run their bones off, man.
Yeah, for sure, eh?
Yeah.
So I kind of just want to take we talked about a few things here that piqued my interest, and I just want to drill down one layer deeper on a couple things, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, sure.
For sure. So as long as we're talking about the service department. I've noted a few things here. It seems to me, and just correct me if I'm wrong, but there seems to be a fair bit of time invested in work orders and inventory. Out of everything we talked about, does that kind of resonate?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. You mentioned a few other things, but I'm just going to focus on these couple things for now. Mm-hmm. So can you just break down we talked about the work orders. Can you just tell me how does that work specifically? Like, how do they get the work orders? You talked a lot about what they do with them when they're done. But how do they start the day? Just fill me in a little bit more about the work order process specifically.
Yeah, sure. So so a call will come in, right, for a service on a machinery, whatever, at ABC Machining. That call will come into our central number. The girls will transfer that into the service area. Bob has his own admin who takes all the appointments and stuff. Okay. So that appointment comes into her. Her name is Betty. So Betty will grab all the information. She'll even ask the client sometimes if they can to send a picture of what's broken or what's going on in prep for the call. And the call is usually answered next day or 24 hours to 48 hours max. So what she'll do is she'll initiate, that carbon copy paper that I was talking about earlier. Yeah. She actually fills in the top half where it says, okay, what the client, where they're at, what it is, what's the problem. She could print off a picture that was sent to her on it as well and attach it to that if she wanted to. Or she can just even forward it to his iPhone too, like through a messaging or whatever. So that dispatch side of things, during the day, all those calls come in, Betty grabs them, puts them into their forms, lets the client know, we should be there tomorrow or the day after, whatever it be. And then Bob, towards the end of his day, so like around the 2 o'clock mark,
right,
at 2 to 3, he'll start working on the dispatch for next day. So he literally takes those forms. So we got 8 guys, 3 forms each, let's say. He'll literally take those forms and then start regrouping them together in 3s and 4s to give to the guys to leave with the next morning.
Okay, so working a day in advance. Cool.
Yeah, so it's a day in advance, and essentially it gives a good sense of how the business is really busy as well. Like, don't get me wrong, we're not just sitting around waiting for people to call. Yeah. So we have on average, we say to clients we want to give them a 1-day delay, but right now it's probably happening where about 2 or 3 days, unless a client wants an emergency call. If it's an emergency, then we charge an extra rate, obviously, but then we can cancel it if we have tomorrow to get to your place.
Okay, so you have a same-day expectation kind of thing set for yourself.
Yes, it's kind of same day. So I get the call today, I'm sending you somebody tomorrow.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. Keep in mind, most of the clients that we serve, Dwayne, most of the clients that we serve, they already have a backup plan, like a plan B. They already have a machine that may be older that they didn't get rid of yet that would do similar to what the new machine does or what the broken machine would do, but it's just longer labor intensive, etc., things like that.
Sure, and if it breaks down, well, then there's a whole other situation, right?
Exactly. If that breaks down, I'll have.
Cool. And just to backtrack just one stop here. So Betty is putting in all this information. Bob's getting all this information from Betty. Is this all being handwritten stuff, or is this being entered into a computer?
That's how we do it, my man. The only time it gets put into a computer is when that form comes back. Then our 2 invoicing girls will actually take it and create an invoice in our system that will be sent by email to the client.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. We've been doing it that way for 44 years now, I think.
Yeah, well, so a lot of people are touching that. I think I count about maybe probably 7 or 8, 9 different people touching it throughout the day. Does that sound about right?
Well, let's count them. Betty 1. Then there's Betty to Bob, right? Then Bob puts it in their clipboards. So then the guys show up, they put it in their clipboard. So, they take off with their clipboards. So they're looking at it and doing all of their thing. The client has to sign off on it, but that really doesn't count. Then they actually fill in whatever's sold to the client or delivered or given to the client. They'll fill that in, and then that comes back to the person in-house for billing. So you're at, 4 or 5 people now? And then in-house billing, then it goes to the client. So 6 people, including the client. Yeah.
So really 5 internally. Wow. So that's a lot of. It seems to me the work orders are a pretty critical part of your business.
It sounds a lot like when I describe it. I know it sounds a lot more complicated than it is. It's just our guys for so long, Dwayne. It's just sort of like second nature. You know what I mean?
Right. And is this how many errors in your? Are there errors that happen? Mistakes that happen in this process?
I'd love to say no, but of course errors happen. Whenever somebody's handwriting stuff, obviously, you probably couldn't even read my own chicken scratch, right? So. Yeah,
no, I have trouble with my own sometimes. Trust me.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Me too.
Cool. So thanks for sharing that part with me. Just one quick, I mentioned the work order and also inventory seem to be kind of key.
Yes.
Can you just describe to me, just break down the inventory process once again, maybe in a little bit more detail in case there's something I missed?
Yeah, sure. So essentially the guys will take that inventory sheet. They have in their clipboards, they already have spare inventory sheets, carbon copy inventory sheets, so they're ready to go, right? So essentially what happens is if I go to see Edge International and they work on metal and whatever, and they have 4 machines from us, when I'm going in and I'm doing that work order, whatever parts I take out of my car or whatever my truck, I should say, whatever parts I've used or whatever parts I checked out of the office with, I'll add to an inventory list right there, so that when I leave that job, I already have all the stuff that I took. Because if they waited till the end of the day to do their inventory, they'd have to count everything in their truck. It's just too long, you know. So now the guys start their morning with their 3 forms for their jobs, and then there's that one form as well that they open up at least and start doing at the beginning of the day. But then they only give that back to the office. They'll give it to Jimmy to fulfill their order for parts only at the end of the day.
Right, and that's just keeping tally of what they've taken out of the truck.
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost like keeping a running tab. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah.
So then they give this form to. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. Then they come back to the office and they'll give it to them in hand, right?
Okay, into Jimmy's hand.
Yep.
And then Jimmy takes that list. What does he do with it after that?
He goes. He grabs usually a clerk, and they go picking in the back.
Oh, okay, I see. So we need 5 of these per guy for those.
What's that?
So the clerk, they're just hand bombing this stuff, just saying, hey, we need 5 of these, 8 of those for this guy, and that's how they get it all done.
Put it in the bucket, and then bucket number 8, you're ready to go.
Cool. And are there any checks and balances to that when they've loaded the guy's truck up, they know for a fact they didn't miss anything?
Well, the truck driver, the service tech who's on the truck has to sign off at the parts counter that he took those things. Oh, so as soon as he signs off, it's now in his possession. Right.
Cool. Is there any ever friction there between those guys? Hey, you did this, I didn't do that. No, it's pretty straight. Pretty.
No, not at all. I admit that's pretty good actually.
Okay, well, that's good to hear, for sure. So it sounds to me, what I'd like to do, and I think we're right on track for time here, is I have some ideas that I think could cut the amount of time and the amount of people touching your work orders in at least half, if not more.
Oh, wow.
So what I'd like to do, I'm going to work on some ideas. I'd like to come back and present them to you and see if it makes sense. We can do
Time out. Time out.
Yep.
Time out. Dwayne, I'm going to, oh, man, this is good. Dude, this was stellar. Right up until that point, you were awesome.
Okay, man.
I want to make you amazing. Are you ready?
Rock and roll.
Okay, so here's the deal. You're going in for the close of the next meeting. I see you going, and I hear you, and I see it. Your teaser that you just did to me to lead up to your close was, all right, so you know what? I think I've got something that can help you save almost half of that time, you know? What I'm going to give you are two, 3 things. And the first thing I'm going to give you is, number 1, when you're at that point where you are right now and you need to transition into the next steps, I want you to do what I call it a time inventory or a time bridge. Okay? Now, time inventory is literally what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'm going to mark, okay, so let's just map out how much time we can actually look at trying to save here for a second, Paul. First of all, you said, how long does it take me in the morning? Half an hour? I'm just going to put 30 minutes here down, okay? So I'll write 30 minutes for the front end. Okay, cool. See, look, it's just exactly like that, 30 minutes. See? 30 minutes? Okay?
Yeah.
Right, 30 minutes. That's for the front. Okay, cool. And then each time they do an order form, a work order at the client location, it's how long did I say? How long does it take them?
I did make notes here. It's got to be at least 5 or 10 minutes, at least.
You didn't ask it, so you don't know.
Yeah.
So ask me as a client, so Paul, how much time do you think it takes at each client location to fill that stuff in?
Okay. Yeah, so, David, how much time do you think it takes each one of these guys to fill out their work order on site with a customer?
Yeah, it's Paul, but I would say it takes about...
Sorry.
No worries, man. It takes about, I'd got to say, a good 15 minutes for each guy, because, they're not the quickest light bulbs in the package. But beyond that, there's a lot of details, and most of them aren't really accustomed to typing on on a tablet or typing on a phone, you know?
Right,
or
for sure.
Typing anything. So it's one of those things. But yeah, so 30 minutes in the front. So what did we just do? So you got your 30 minutes of front end. Now you've got about 15 minutes per, and if it's 15 minutes per, that's like 45 minutes, just based on what?
Just on one guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're looking at it and say, okay, so 45 minutes. Wow. And then how long does it take when they come back to give those things to the billing girls? Oh,
I don't know if they do now.
It's got to be probably about 10 minutes, I would say, at least. Even if they don't have questions, you know how the guys are. They start talking and, you know, shooting the crap. But, yeah, I've got to say it's probably a good, let's say, 15 minutes on that side. And then for the inventory, to give that into everybody at the end of the day, right? That inventory probably lead about 30 minutes just to give in your order and then wait for it, etc.
So we're looking at an hour and a half, 90 minutes. Yeah.
So you got 30 here, 45. That's an hour and 15 already right there. And then 45 minutes. So an hour and 15, that'd be 200 minutes. Is that correct?
Let's see here. 30, 60, and 30 an hour and a half, 90 minutes. Is that what I'm coming up with?
Yeah.
Yeah, 90 minutes.
So 200 minutes per person, correct? No, what do we got?
Yeah, 30 minutes at the front end, and then 15, and then a 15 at the end of the month on inventory, and then 30 minutes again on inventory. So 60 minutes.
20 minutes.
And then another
200 minutes. What am I talking about? It's 120 minutes, correct?
That's right.
Wow. Okay, so that's 2 hours, man. Okay, so do you see by doing a little quick inventory, what have we identified, Dwayne?
Yeah, what the unit that we're dealing with here, in this case, time, and then we can start working against that.
Yeah, so now you can say, listen, I have something that I think that you could do all of these things, and maybe I'd say about probably 30 minutes instead of having it, you know, that long. What if it would take 30 minutes? What would that mean? That would give you back an hour and a half, so 1.5 hours. Do you think, Paul, that you could do one more service call if you had that much time on the guy's hands?
Instead of 3-4 a day?
Yeah. So think about that for a second. Right? So if you were to do this time, see this time bridge, the time inventory is a bridge, okay?
Yeah.
Which allows you to move into the question, which is, hey, you know, instead of, you know what, listen to my words here. Dwayne, I really think I have something that will help you save some time. That's the first one, okay? Right. Versus me saying to you, wow, we got 120 minutes of time that potentially is not used effectively here. I have something that I know we can do all of that in probably about 30 minutes, thus saving you about 90 minutes, about an hour and a half, Dwayne.
Yeah.
What's the difference in between those two?
Well, it's just, I think the first thing that pops to mind is more tangible.
Correct. Excellent.
It's more tangible, and then I can equate that as a business owner to, what do I pay these guys an hour?
Exactly, dude. See, now you've got the guy thinking about, well, how much do I pay these guys an hour? But more importantly, my question is, Dwayne, do you think if we could get them an hour and a half extra every day, do you think the guys could do one more service call?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
If not more.
If he says yes to that, fantastic. If he says, well, maybe, but I don't know about all of them, maybe half of them. Okay, great. So we'll do it on 4 people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I think I was struggling to get there. Like I was thinking about how many people touch it versus when I should have been thinking time frame, right?
Exactly. And when you did that, oh man, when you did that, how many people touch it? I loved it. That was awesome. But I was hoping so badly that you'd go to time. Okay. Remember,
right.
Doing this whole process-based selling thing is to help identify time that's wasted, right?
Right.
So if you can convert something into time, Dwayne, you can automatically, if you convert it into time, you can automatically convert it into possible one of two things, either possible productivity, more output, or you can relate it to time savings. But I'm going to tell you right now, shaving off 90 minutes off of their pays or getting one more job, what do you think the client would prefer?
Probably one more job.
Oh, damn, for sure, dude. It's a hell of a lot more profitable to do one more job than it is just to save an hour and a half on everybody's timesheet.
For sure, and a lot more palatable too, right? You're not cutting people back; you're getting more productivity out of them.
Nobody likes to get cut, and nobody likes to cut people and all that other stuff, right?
100%.
So that time bridge, okay, now that you have this recorded, go back to it and you can revise it and listen to it again and again and again and see, okay, I get it. That's where I insert that. And I call it a bridge because it leads to your business math.
Right.
Because if you say to me, I think at least half of the team could do one more job, what now could you do, Dwayne? Right now.
Business math. Start working out what that actually means.
So do it for me. Can you do business math for me, man? And we're going to get right back to the role play, and I want you to run through business math real quick for me, okay?
Sure, you betcha.
All right. You can do this. I know it. Dude, you're awesome, man. This is really good.
So again, just to clarify, we're doing business math on the amount of what one more service call is worth?
Yeah, on one more service call and ask me if it's all the team or half the team. You do what you need to do, man.
Okay. So cool, man. Let's go back to where we started. Cool. So I just want to go backtrack a little bit here and talk about the service guys. So you mentioned you have service guys?
Yep.
Yeah. 8 service guys, yeah.
8 service guys, yeah.
8 service guys.
Yeah.
And they each make three appointments a day.
Yeah, on average, yeah.
3 appointments a day on average.
Uh-huh.
What would you say, if you could just summarize, what's that actually worth to you as a business owner per service call as far as profit goes?
Oh, man, it's got to be probably $450 of revenue or billing.
$450 profit?
Yeah, not profit, but billing, yeah.
Yeah, billing. Revenue, I guess we could call.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'll leave what you make up or what your profit margin is to you. I'm just kind of trying to get a rough idea here. So $450, and we're doing 3 calls a day. So that's $1,350.
Mm-hmm.
Per guy per day.
Okay, stop. Time out. That's not how I taught you guys how to do business math. Never, ever, ever did I ever tell you to do how many guys doing how many jobs. Then, so how much is a job worth? And doing that math, the dollar value comes last all the time, Dwayne. How much? What's the dollar value that you just said right now? Just 10 seconds ago. What was the dollar value?
$1,350.
Okay, write that number down in big on a piece of paper in front of you. Have it there?
Yep.
Okay, so keep that number there, and then I want you to do business math the way I taught you to do it, which is you take the number of jobs, then you multiply that by the number of days they work, by the number of months they work, for the total of the year, and then add the dollar value at the end, okay?
Okay, cool. Yeah, you betcha.
So do it again.
Yeah, you betcha. So one job equals, just to clarify here, Paul, so one job is $450.
Yeah.
And you do 3 jobs a day.
Yeah.
That's $1,350. And how many days a month do you work?
Stop. You just did your $1,350 calculation again.
Yeah, why do I keep going back there?
Well, you keep going back to it because you asked me every single time. So how much do you make on average per job? Save that for last.
Yeah, I think it's right. I think it's what do you call it when you watch Canada's Dumbest Driver? You get fixation on the object you're trying to avoid.
Now you're fixated on it. So here's what I want you to do, okay? So I'll walk you through it first, and then you're going to do it back to me, okay?
100%.
All right, so here's how we do it, Dwayne. So, Dwayne, let's do some math here. I just want to do this really quickly with you, okay? Because it's one thing to say an hour and a half, and we could do one more job and all of that, but I want to make absolutely sure we know what we're talking about here, okay, Dwayne? So let's take 3 jobs. We said, that half of the team could do this every day, an extra job. So we're going to do it on 4 guys. So 4 jobs. Let's start with 4 jobs a day. How many days in a month do you work, Dwayne?
Monday to Friday, 20.
So 20. So let's do 4 times 20. That's what?
80.
Yeah. Now, and how many months do you guys work right now in a year?
We're 12 months.
12 months. Wow. So you guys don't give them holidays or anything?
Well, I guess we have to. So we'll call it 11.
All right, cool. Let's do it off 11. So let's do 80 times 11 months, please. Could you do that?
Yep. So you're looking at 880.
So that's 880 service calls, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's an extra. Oh, cow. So that's holy cow, man. Can I ask you, Dwayne? Now, what's the average revenue from your service calls? I don't need to know the exact number, but average, what would it be?
450.
Okay, so can you do 880 times 450 for me? And make sure you're holding down, sitting on your chair when you do this, okay?
Wow, that's $39,600.
No, that would be 396,000 if you look closely.
I'm not used to looking at big numbers like that.
Yeah, so do it again. Do it again to me. What's that number again?
396,000.
$396,000. Is that correct?
Yep.
Do you want to do that again just to make sure that number's right?
0. That's what I keep coming up with.
So let me ask you, Dwayne, I'm going back into the timeout here, okay? So I'm back to coaching you now here.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that number that you just wrote down, 396,000, versus looking at 1350 on your sheet?
Yeah, night and day.
Which one has the bigger impact?
The bigger number.
Yeah. Now you see why I need you to put the dollar value at the end, because if you do it on 1350, you're like, $1,350 a day. Wow, that's a lot of money. It isn't a lot of money. It's not, because a guy will look at that as a business owner of 44 years that he's been in business, whatever it be. He'll look at that and say, man, I can't even buy a suit for $1,350.
Yeah.
Whereas I look at $396,000 and I go, ooh, hold on, that's a boat.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm going, man?
Big difference. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the way that I just walked you through, I want you to practice it in that format. That's the key there, okay?
Yeah, you betcha.
And then you can lead into your close, which is, so let me come back. I want to set this up, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Because you were on the right to do that closing earlier, right?
Right.
So I want you to do this for me, okay? Here's my coaching to you again on this point, okay? The closing up and the wrapping up of the meeting, I know you're good at that. I know you get it because I've heard you do it before. So that's fine, okay? I don't have any issues there. Here's what I do want you to do, though, okay?
Yep.
If you do business math, and only if you do business math, Dwayne, okay? This is only if you do it. If you don't do business math, don't do what I'm about to say to you, okay?
Okay.
Here's the deal. If you do business math and it's $396,000 or something crazy like that, or $150,000, I want you to ask the client point blank, just the way I'm going to do this. Dwayne, $396,000. Is that something that you would like to go and get?
Yes. Is the answer to that question.
So yes is the answer to that question. So now I'm assuming the sale. Would you agree?
100%. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I've got you saying yes now. Now watch what I'm going to do, Dwayne. I am going to teach you a tactic which is called a leverage close, okay? A leverage close. And this leverage close is only to be used in the case that you do have this business math, okay? You ready?
Yeah.
So, Dwayne, I need to ask you a question now. You say you'd like to get that 396, and I'd like to be a part of that to help you get that, okay? I really do. And I know we can do it because I've done it before with many clients. But, Dwayne, I need to ask you a very important question right now. Is that okay?
Yep, fire away.
And that question is the following. If I can show you how to bring that $396,000, and that's only with half of your team doing it, okay? Half of your team doing an extra activity, bringing that much money. If I can show you how to do this next Monday when I come back here, will you commit to coming over with all of the rest of your tools, of communication tools, all of your phones, all of your phone systems, your tracking units, everything, as long as I come in at the exact same cost that you have now, not a penny more, not a penny less, the exact same cost on all those things, but I bring you a solution that brings $396,000 to your business, will you commit your entire account to me going forward?
Yes, 100%.
Thank you. That's what I want to hear. What did I just do, Dwayne?
You just made it as simple as you possibly can. Like,
okay, so what we've just done together here, man, is I've taught you now, I've given you the tips and the elements on how to leverage one solution using tablets and apps.
Right.
How to leverage that to get an account that has 20 phones at least, that has 8 tracking units, plus another 3 that we could go and get. Plus, it probably could go and get, the internet keys. You could go get the tablets with this. You could go get the phone system for Business Connect. You've just turned an account that would be just, most people look at that and say, and people in session used to tell me, Dwayne, well, I don't like selling tablets and apps because I don't make any money from it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I just taught you how to use something you don't make money with necessarily, or not as much. Yeah. I just taught you how you could leverage that to go and get a pretty damn interesting account. 15 Business Connect lines, 20 phone lines, at least 12 tracking units, and I don't know, man. What do you think? Do you think that's a pretty good account?
That's a pretty good start for sure. That's
a pretty important account, man. And the nice thing about that is you can tell them, okay, so we're going to do the tablets this month. Next month we're going to do the phones. The month after that we're going to do the fleet tracking, and then the month after that we're converting all of your business phones. Pretty so cool. What I've done, you've just forecasted business from this client over the next 4 months, my man. Easily, and you can sign it all up right now based on just selling him tablets, because all you have to do is come in with exactly what he's paying at Bell or Rogers right now, and I don't know anybody at TELUS that would say no to giving exactly what they're getting across the street. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. Even if God forbid we're more, I mean the math just works, right?
See, there you go, buddy. Do you see where I'm going?
No, I appreciate that. I learned more than I thought I was going to learn here. This is awesome.
I like hearing that, man. Make sure you send those nice words to me.
I do.
All right. Cool. So, dude, awesome role play. A really, really awesome role play. I'm scoring you in here at about close to an 80 points right now. Based on, I still got to revise some of my notes and stuff, but I'm scoring you in at about 80. That's fantastic, dude, really. And as we go further, right, you're going to have, you were part of the A team, correct, on Vancouver? So This is your last VSA for this year, obviously. Next year, we're actually working with TELUS to see if we can actually do these on a quarterly basis, Dwayne. These WebEx things. So, because a lot of people are doing them now and saying, wow, man, this is really valuable. Like you just said, man, I'm learning more out of this than I thought I would,
For sure.
Because these ones are really what it's about. Like the first one was just an assessment. This one and the ones going forward are about assessing, but at the same time taking 20 minutes to coach you on it too, Yeah,
and I think that's been probably a missing ingredient up until now is, you soak it all in and then work, the actual work life of all the monotonous stuff happens and you come back to it and hopefully you remember it, right? So
I hear you, dude. I hear you, and that's why doing this it'll keep it front and center. But at the same time, this is teaching for you. I'm not teaching you something that someone else did. I'm teaching you what you just did. Or what you did. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, in some cases what I didn't do, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what's cool about this process. So, all right, my man. So, listen, that was fantastic. I'm really proud of you. I know that sounds very paternal of me, but you're one of my kids, and I love that, dude. And I love that you're doing well, and this is awesome. So, first things first, keep up the amazing work. Thank you so much for the effort, and we really appreciate it. At the same token, I want to take this opportunity to wish you and your loved ones a very absolutely Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and Happy Holidays to everyone and your loved ones. May 2016 be filled with all you want: happiness, health, joy, success, everything you wish for, my man.
Cool, I appreciate that, and right back at you.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. And Dwayne, I wish you green lights, man. Go sell something, go make some money, buddy.
You know what, rock and roll.
All right, man. So if you need anything, reach out anytime, okay, man?
I will do.
And we'll keep you posted on plans for 2016. I'm meeting with them next week, so we'll keep you posted real soon on that, too.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
All right, Dwayne. Take care, my man.
Yep. Cheers.
Best. Take care.